How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI, which was down just over 7.5% on the day. If you guys caught my video on the weekend when I could barely put a word out, I was saying this week is going to be different. Don't be surprised if there's some profit taking, and make sure if you are a trader that you've been protecting your profits. Of course, now we're trading in the $6 range, so I hope you took heed to that advice, because we did know, well, you know what? We'll talk about it further in the video. I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $6.72, being down 7.57%. On the low, it tested $6.62, and then on the high, testing $7.15. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 37.664 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 56.844 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we did see a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 46.75. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and we are below the 21-day EMA. So it's clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. And if you remember the video that I made on the weekend, I was saying we could see some selling pressure for the coming week, and this is what is happening. So we saw a low at $6.62. So what that means going into tomorrow, you'd want to see SOFI at least try to hold support if we break through 662 right here around 630. If it can't hold 630, we already know there's a gap that needs to be filled to the downside right here around $5.78. So please add that to your homework if you haven't done so already. But of course, you'd want to see $6 support hold up before we actually get to that area. But again, if it breaks through, you know what to look for. If you're looking for a reversal out of this play, it definitely needs to go back to reclaiming the 21-day EMA, and that's right around $6.90. So essentially, you want to see SOFI going back to $7 and then making that move, since we did have some resistance here and we talked about how $8 was a psychological area. We had that selling pressure, and that's why the stock got beaten down. So overall, that's what it looks like to the upside and as well as for the downside. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 23rd. We have Neuberger Berman Corp LLC that purchased 14,948 shares. Then we have Government Street Midcap Fund that purchased 5,000 shares. And for the prior ones, we've already covered in previous videos as well. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 53.52%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 9 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.4 million, updated 16 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 4.19%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 20th, it is at 53.75, and then for the close of the 23rd, being at 53.52. have two. So when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 19.66%, this shows us that SOFI does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see on the inflow, it was at 41.62 million, and then on the outflow is at 51.50 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0.86 million, on the medium it was 24.32 million, and then on the small it was 16.44 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 1.32 million, on the medium it was 33.67 million, and then on the small it was 16.51 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for May the 24th, which is today, we had that negative outflow of 0.46 million, and for the 23rd you can see that we had zero. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, of course we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 4.14%. Not too bad for a volatile stock like SOFI. We know that there's been a lot of volatility in the markets as well. And since this play has been showing a lot of strength from last week, what I see right now is just some profit taking that is occurring. So we'll talk about it further in the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for SOFI, when it comes to the price action, remember what I was saying on the weekend, that we're going to be seeing some volatility. This week is going to be different. We also do know that the psychological area for SOFI is at $8. And since it did get rejected at this level, I'm hoping all of the traders who are watching my channel were able to protect their profits. I mentioned this extensively in all of my videos, so I hope you took advantage of that. Now, what we want to see SOFI actually do, can it hold the 21-day EMA? Unfortunately, it broke below it by closing at $6.72, and the 21-day EMA is at $6.90. So SOFI needs to reclaim this level and pretty much just try to hold up $7. If it is unable to do that and we see continued weakness, we already know it needs to hold support at least around $6, because if it doesn't, there's a gap that needs to be filled to the downside, which is around $5.78. So just as fast as it moved up is just as fast as it could go down. I'm not guaranteeing this is going to happen, but I want to make sure you have a clear picture of what is going on. Many YouTube channels are not going to do that. They're going to tell you, hey, this stock is going to the moon, or they'll be telling you that, hey, you just need to hold and sit down and wait. And not everyone shares the same sentiment here. That's why I make content for my traders and as well as for my investors. And as far as my investors are concerned, of course, you want to take advantage of the dips. So if there's a possibility that SOFI could fill the gap to the downside around 578, then that's an area that you want to focus on in regards to an entry. There is no point that you should be buying when it was trading at 7 or even trading at 8. It ran up very quickly, and there's still a lot of uncertainty with the markets that we have. Also, you went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see that institutions have been loading up on shares. And plus, on top of that, for the short interest information, of course, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. We know there's many shorts who are vested in this play, and it's part of the reasons why the stock ran up as quickly as it did. So now that it's cooling off, let's see if it could hold down to those levels like I spoke about. Very important for SOFI to hold 6, and that's why I say, have a strategy. Doesn't matter whether you're a trader or you're an investor. The reason why this is very important, you'll be less concerned. You'll have less anxiety. It will be better for your mental health to know what you need to do when a stock reaches particular levels, and not just going there and buying blindly and hoping for the best. That doesn't work, and especially in the environments that we are in with a lot of uncertainty, concerns around inflation, you need to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. And I'm going to make sure on this channel that you're getting value from the videos that I create. So let's see how SOFI performs going into tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.